Hi guys, it's Mary. Welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be reviewing the Jaclyn Hill Morphe Favorites brush set for you today. It's my channel. I'll dish if I want to. No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to dish. I've been through 2 months and about 4 washings on these brushes. And so I think that I've used them long enough to give a pretty good opinion on them. On the whole, I think that to buy the entire brush set, if you don't have any brushes, this might be a good way to get a lot of blending brushes and stuff. If you're somebody like me and you have a bunch of brushes, it might be a good for travel, a travel backup set. But if this is like seriously your very first brush set that you're putting together and you are mature, and that means that your eyelids are going to be crepey. The skin on them is thin. You don't want to move them around a lot. You don't want scratchiness going on. I'm not saying that you have to purchase Tom Ford and Wayne Goss brushes, though I think they are worth the investment. Let me tell you when we're done what I would put together personally as a set. Okay, it's not going to be Jaclyn's set anymore. It's going to be the Glitzy Fritzy set. Okay. I will tell you from this brush set, if I were putting together a set myself, what I would do. How's that? But in the meantime, I am going to go through this line and show you what's in it. Okay, so here we go. It comes in this really hard case. This comes with it. It's sold on its own for $20. By the way, Jaclyn makes this look like it's so easy to open. She just plops that right open.
Open it up, you open it up, you open it up.
And turn it like this so it's a diamond, okay? And then push from the bottom and it will open up really easily for you. You don't have to sit there and try and pry this apart on the side like I did. It's very nice. Highly recommend this case. So what comes inside of it then, all wrapped up in their own little plastic, are these brushes. I want to apologize right off the bat because all these brushes were clean when I did this video the first time. This is a refilm. So some of them are dirty and I'm sorry about that. The brush set starts off, the first one would be this. So this one here is the M439. It's a synthetic deluxe buffer foundation brush. Now, notice I've used it because I like this brush. I use this brush when I don't have any sponges that are ready for me to use. I prefer sponges to any brush for foundation. But if I'm going to use one, I want one like this one. This is a really good one for only $14. What makes this good is that it is round. Years ago, oh my gosh, F80 by Sigma, which was a foundation kabuki, but it was flat on the top. Now, the reason I didn't like that brush was because, and she kept saying, oh, this is the best brush. She must have had like 50 of them laying around then, because I'm telling you what, that brush, I don't have it. I gave it away. But that brush was so hard to clean. You would get foundation in it and like, it's never coming out. I would use Dawn dish soap on the thing, and then you'd be there forever and a day rinsing it. The F80 wasn't really popular with me, and I was inclined to not believe her about this, although what I like about this kind of a brush is that it's domed, okay? Now, it is thick enough to get the job done, but it's not so densely packed that you can't get it clean. How I tend to use this brush is I'll put the foundation directly on here, and then I will buff like you're supposed to, but I always end up stippling with this buffer brush. And it does give a very nice finish, so I recommend this. The next one she talks about is the E8. All right, now this brush here, if you look, is from a different line. Let's point out while we're here that because these are Jaclyn's brushes that she likes from all of Morphe brushes, they're not the same. So you may look at it and go, oh, I wish I had, you know, all the brushes have this ferrule. But the reason they don't is because it is her favorites from across the entire Morphe collection. So they have series of brushes. The silver ferrule brushes are from the M series, which is like their regular line, the Morphe brushes. Okay, but from there they have others like this one here. It has, see, this is like a more gunmetal kind of ferrule on it, and it's from the Elite section. And all Elite brushes, you can tell because they have this gunmetal ferrule and the bristles are two-tone. And then they have their rose gold. They do have other series besides the ones I just told you. But in this set, you're only going to run across 3. She tells this story about how someone was doing her makeup, maybe at Morphe, and I don't know where. And they were using this as the foundation brush instead of this. I probably would have asked about that too, because look how dinky that is. Why would you be doing that? So she asked, and the lady makeup artist said, well, she likes using this one better because she can get, you know, more detailed around the nose or whatever. I would use this as a foundation brush personally, only if it was a day where I was you know, just putting a little here, a little there, but not really doing my whole face. That's when I might do that. What I ended up using this brush for was to buff out concealer and use powder under my eyes, because I do find that I don't like doing that with a regular foundation brush. The next brush is the E41. Oh, this powder brush is very soft yet dense. I don't really have any powder brushes like this one. I mean, I've got a lot of powder brushes and got a lot of nice ones, but I don't have one like this. And I think this one is very much worth the $23 for it. You can see how it does on your face. So putting on powder with it is very nice. Highly recommend this brush. The next one is the R2. Now, she uses this for bronzer, and Morphe says it's a powder brush. It's tapered on the sides. It's very thick. I like this brush an awful lot. She uses it for bronzer, so do I. I'm going to tell you this, though. She said she put away her Tom Ford bronzing brush for this. And I just want to know if Georgie ate the Tom Ford. She lost it. Because I like this brush an awful lot, but I wouldn't put away my Tom Ford for it. Now, it is a nice brush, though. Very good. Very nice. I like the way it splays out. It's a beautiful brush. And it's so inexpensive. This thing's only $15. The next brush is this one. It's the R10. It's the first goat hair brush. She uses this brush to contour. So she will put her contour in, chisel it out, and then she takes another brush that we'll get to in a minute, and I'll just go ahead and show it to you. It's this one. And she will buff it out. Yeah, I mean, it will do a good job of contouring for you. Me personally, though, I tend to like a bigger contour brush that's not so stiff. See, this is kind of stiff, so it's really going to chisel. If you really want to chisel your contour, then okay. I don't want to chisel my contour that much. I mean, I want to go around here and here. I would like it to be something that blends a little better so it doesn't look like a harsh line. But so she puts it on with this and then takes the other one and blends it out. So, but this brush here is one of the softer goat hair brushes in the series, and that would be the R10. The next one is the M530. As you can tell, I use it for blush, and so does she. So here's what I gotta say about this. If every blush brush that I own is dirty, I will reach for this. But for me personally, I like my blush brushes to be a little more full and a lot less scratchy. The goat hair is a lesser quality. I would rather have a synthetic brush as opposed to a scratchy goat hair brush. You know, I mean, it did a pretty good job. If I were traveling, for sure I would take this so I wouldn't lose my bigger, nicer ones. But I tend to prefer a bigger head on my blush brush than this. This one here is the M437. It has sable bristles and it's round. It's pretty soft. This is the one that she uses in conjunction with the one we already talked about here, which was the R10 when she contours. So she will apply her contour, she said, with this, and then she will take this one and kind of buff it out, especially back here. So I don't have a problem with this brush to do that. I just kind of think maybe just use one brush instead of two. But this is a pretty good brush. You know, I would use it kind of like I would use this one as blush. But my blush brushes, I like to be like this, you know, a little more thick. Whereas neither one of these two have a big enough head on them. I will use them if I have to, but I really kind of want something a little bigger. The next one is the M438. This is a pointed sable brush that is really good for getting underneath here with powder. I have a Wayne Goss brush that's similar to this, and Beauty Junkies makes one too that's similar to this that is really good for that same thing. If you like to use a brush to put powder on underneath your eyes, I do usually use my finger. I will dip it down in powder and use my finger to press it in. Just a preference. The next brush is the M510. Now, if you've ever watched Jaclyn, you know that this brush, this is the one that she does the highlighting. I don't really care for this brush that much because for me, highlighting with this brush deposits too much. I don't want that much highlight on my face. So I will tend to go for a fan brush that I can just lightly drag across the surface of the highlighter and then just whoop, pop it down on my cheek, and that's how I do it. If you're younger or you're a highlight junkie, then maybe you want to go for something like this. I think that there's a better alternative to this brush, and I'll get to that in a little bit. Next, we have the E47. So this is a little miniature contour brush that Jaclyn uses as an eye brush. So what she will do is she will take this brush and dip it into, say, translucent powder when she's done with her eye look, and then come here and kind of drag down to clean it up. What I typically use this for is to contour my nose. The next one is the E18. This is a round crease brush. She calls it a pencil brush. I like my pencil brushes to come more to a point than this, but you know, several companies do make pencil brushes that look like this. She likes to use this for a cut crease. This, if you've watched me before, this is the kind of brush that I typically like to come on the outer corner and work with. But she uses it for crease. I don't have a problem with this brush. The next brush is the M432, and this is a flat line definer. I do like this one. Look how thick that one is. This is one of the better definers, I think. I do enjoy this brush. And what you use that for is to come underneath your eye and smudge eyeshadow here. And then take it and kind of flip out a little bit. Will give you a nice little wing. I do think this is a very good brush. This brush is the M213. It's a very small detail shader. And I will agree with her that more sets need these. I don't know why. I don't know why sets don't have little tiny detail shaders. These are really good for putting spotlight, you know, in here or up here on your brow bone. This isn't quite big enough. I wouldn't use this to like pack on my lid. But as a spotlight or up underneath the brow, I think that a little spotlight brush, that's nice. The next brush is the E36. So this is like a teeny weeny like pencil brush. I have a problem with this brush. Unless I got a bad one. Look, can you see in this ferrule? You're going to be washing this brush and then all of it's going to come out because water gets in the ferrule of this brush. It would have been a nice little brush to do inner corner work too, you know, maybe smudging or whatnot, you know, but I can't get past the fact that I can look down in this ferrule and know that, you know, e.l.f. makes a brush that you could do that with. It's a little bigger than this one, but if its bristles come out, and I've got one I've used 4 years and it hasn't, but if its bristles come out, I'm gonna be like, it was a buck. So I'm not a really big fan of this brush, just saying. The next brush is the M506, and this is the brush that I would use to cut my crease, okay? So, not that I know more than Jaclyn, but I mean, it's perfect, I think, for cutting a crease. So it's stiff enough that you can get that color and just put it right there in the crease and it'll stay there. right there to cut your crease with it. I like that brush for that. The next brush is the E17. This brush is kind of a bigger, fluffier version of the one I just showed you, which was the E506. So it's from a different line because this one is an M and this is an E, so the ferrules don't look the same. But as you can see, they kind of look the same. One's just bigger and fluffier. Everything I'm going to show you from this point on is a blending brush, which is really no surprise because it's Jaclyn's set, right? And she does a lot of layering with colors on her eyes. And the first one is this, the M504. It's a large sable brush. It's tapered and comes to a point, and I think it does a good job of blending. And it's kind of soft, see? This is my big thing with these brushes, is that when it comes to my eyes, this is the big thing with me. For me, it's important that a blending brush be soft. This one is. It's important that it be soft because I am a mature woman and my eyes aren't like Jaclyn's anymore. They're not taunt. Okay? Skin moves around here. They're crepey, they have wrinkles, and I don't want to disturb it, and I sure don't want it hurting. So for me, a blending brush, it's important that it be soft. This one is. I really like this brush. It was very soft to come in here and blend with this. As is the next one, which is the R37. This one is goat hair. It's soft. Not as soft as this one. This one's softer. To me, these two blending brushes are the winners in the set. So that's the R37 from the Rose Gold collection and the M504 in Sable. I quite like these two brushes. Very inexpensive, okay? So we'll come back to this in a second. I'm going to tell you now as we move into these last ones, my big complaint about this set. And when I went through them, I was like, where's the shader? Where's the shader brush? Does Jaclyn not pack shadow on her lid? This one, yeah, this is the 433. To me, that's as close as you're going to come to a shader brush. This one is kind of pinched right here, so it comes flatter. And you could, if you had, you know, if you wanted to, you could use this one as a shader, but this isn't a shader. This is a blending brush. This one here is Jaclyn's favorite brush, like her very favorite brush. This, the 433. And she makes a pretty big deal about how everybody has this brush. All the YouTubers have this brush. I don't have this brush. Well, I do now, but I didn't have this brush. So everybody has this brush. If you don't have this brush, you need this brush. This is like the best thing. And it's a good brush. But for me, it's still a little bit rough. But of all of the last five, I will agree, the 433 is the better one. The rest of these, they are different. Like this one here is domed. This is round. So M518 has a round head on it. So this would be good for windshield wipering in there. And, you know, this one's more tapered. This one here is smaller and tapered. You know, basically she's giving you a lot of blending brushes so that if you layer like she does, you've got plenty. And also because if it's like this is your set that you're buying, you do need more than one blender. You'll need several blending brushes. On the site, the set sells for $155. If you use one of the Morphe Babes codes like Jaclyn's, then you'll save 10%. And with tax, I think I paid $140 for my set. I would like to take a little bit of time here, if you guys will indulge me, and make a glitzy set out of this. Okay, revise a few brushes from Morphe, and turn this into my own creation of what I think would work better for a mature woman. So I would purchase this for sure. I would purchase this case. In fact, I want another one. Next, I would agree that the M439 is a good buffer brush. The next brush that I would grab then would be this, the R2, right? This bronzing brush. The E41, I don't think that you're going to get this nice of a powder brush for $23. See this brush here, the 510, the one she does the highlight with? I would go outside the Morphe collection for this brush and take a look at Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild makes a brush that's just like it. It's synthetic and very much softer. I've washed this brush, I can't tell you how many times. I will use it for highlight because it doesn't pick up as much. For the same amount of money, you get a much sleeker brush that's nicer to hold. I love the hold on these brushes. It would be in rose gold, not silver, because you'd have to buy it from the Wet n Wild website and they don't sell the silver. It doesn't lose any of its bristles. They are all so soft. Every brush in that series is really soft. And I just think that it's a better brush than this one. The next two you probably guessed were these blending brushes. These two blending brushes I think are really good and I would get those. That would be the R37 and the M504. There was no shader brush, so I use this brush all the time. It doesn't come in her set. It's one that I purchased from Morphe myself, and it is the M124. Notice it's a detailer brush. It's bigger than the detail brush she has in there. I think it's more well made than that one. I've used this I don't know how many times. I packed glitter glue down and put glitter on my lid, and shiny eyeshadows that I want to just precisely stay on my lid with, I'll use this brush with. The last brush I want to show you from Morphe, that'd be the last one that I would put in my kit from Morphe, would be the E4. Now the E4, as you can see, is a slanted brush, and I pick up two of these. Why? I would use one for contour. I would use the other for blush. When I contour, I don't want a harsh line like this is going to get you. And if you're going to have two brushes, one to push it, one to blend it. So I don't want a stark line on my face with it and then blend it out. I want to bring it in that way, okay? I want to softly diffuse my contour everywhere I go, and this brush does a really good job of that. I've used it for contour, I've used it for blush. I like this brush a whole bunch. For $14, I would get two of these for my kit. For the other 8 eye brushes, I would come completely away from Morphe. And I know you're probably going, Mary, we can't afford Wayne Goss or Chikuhodo. I'm not going to take you to Tom Ford, Chikuhodo. I'm not going to do that. Okay, I'm going to show you an affordable place where you can get really good eye brushes to go in your glitzy set and that you will be very pleased with, and it has a shader. That would be Beauty Junkies, okay? Beauty Junkies makes an 8-piece set, of which I've only got a few of here because, and I am going to buy another one. I had a friend who needed brushes, and I grabbed up a bunch of brushes, and in them was some of my favorite Beauty Junkie brushes. The blenders and the shaders. But it's okay. I'm going to buy another set. Even though I am recommending Beauty Junkies to you, I want you to know that I make no money from them, okay? I am not an affiliate of Beauty Junkies. I just think they make really nice brushes. Their brushes are some of my favorites still. So I have a few of them here that are from the set, but you get 8. And what we're missing here is a couple of the blenders, a crease brush, you get a definer brush, okay? You get an angle brush, which the Jaclyn set doesn't have, but I think that an angle brush is really important for eyebrows, or sometimes you want to come under your eyes with it to do eyeliner. So it has one of those. It has this really important brush, I think, it's a shader, but it is got an angle on it. So to me, this makes doing that outer V super easy by twisting it. You can do that with this brush, and it's super soft. They have 3 different kinds of blending brushes. This one's the crease brush, but they have a white one, and they have a more fluffier blending brush that I gave to somebody. A nice shader comes in that set, a pencil brush. I'll have them below. Maybe I'll put a picture here so you can see. Now, You total everything I just told you. The case, all the brushes from Morphe that I told you, the Wet n Wild brush, and the Beauty Junkie set, and you will have spent the same amount of money as you would have on the Jaclyn Hill set, and I think that you would have something you'd be more happy with as a mature woman. Am I saying then that the Jaclyn Hill set is junk? No, I don't think it is. Like I said, I think that it's just fine. But I think for mature women, maybe there's a few we could work on a little bit. Okay, so that's going to wrap it up for me then. I want to thank you for being the best part of the Fritzy family, and welcome to new Fritzy family. And I want you to have a blessed day. But if you're not having a blessed day, then please go out and be a blessing to somebody else. And until next time, love you, see ya. Bye. And I'm out.
You know, I feel like a lumberjack in this shirt. Oh, I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and I work all day. I go to bed, I eat my lunch, I go to the latrine. I don't think that's how that goes, is it? Anybody a Monty Python buff out there? Okay, I'm gonna dish. Seriously, it's my party and I'll dish if I want to, dish if I want to, dish if I want to. You can dish too, but I'll block you from the comments. No, I won't. Truth be told, I'll say God bless you and pin it to the top. So I was like, how do you open this thing? How do you open this thing? I'm like, I'm trying to pull this apart, getting stuff, you know, exerting a lot of energy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how do you do it? All right, just turn it on like it's a diamond, okay? Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Hold it like this, all right? And take your fingers and push up against this on the bottom, and it'll open right up. I exerted a lot of energy, and I looked, and no, I didn't even get any steps for that. And I tried to get them to take this off there. I don't want that to say Morphe. I need it to say Mary. Now, I don't know what their problem is, but they wouldn't take it off there and make it say Mary. So if you use my Morphe code below, I don't have a Morphe code. You might not think that's funny, but I find it hilarious. I do want to point out that none of these... Oh, ice is going everywhere. It's all over the floor now. I do want to point out that none of these brushes make a really good ice pick, like the It Cosmetics powder brush. So this brush is the R2-D2. It's been looking for Princess Leia. And, oh dear gosh darn! Ah! I had those brushes all in order.